All right, so here is what we like to use. This guy right here, this is a camera case that we got from Harbor Freight. It must have been about 5 or 6 years ago now. I remember we got these when we were going to our very first Acme show because we're going to be getting on a plane and flying all the way to Georgia. And we wanted something that was going to protect the models the best affordable way possible. I think that was in 2018, so that's been a little while. And I just, on this last trip to Colorado, realized I should be putting stickers on this, places that we got a chance to travel to. So also, got to advertise the podcast. But when we got this guy here, this was approximately $35 then. You can still get cases approximately this size on Amazon for around about the same price, about $39 perhaps now, but not that much difference in cost. But when we go traveling, this is what we like to use. And I will tell you that every flight we've ever been on, I've put this in the overhead bin right up above us, and it's getting knocked or slammed around or something like that by folks who are not gentle with their suitcases. Human nature. Nothing against anybody, it happens. But we have had no breakages. I had one incident on this last trip where we lost a door handle, probably because I didn't glue it on very well. Easy fix. And then we had one major incident when we had gone to NNL East. I had the tetanus cab in here. It survived the trip to North Carolina fine. It survived the trip to New York from North Carolina just fine. And then when I opened up the back of the vehicle that we had rented to unload at the hotel, this fell out, probably dropped about 4 feet from its resting place to the asphalt, bounced around, hit every single corner a couple of times. And we did have to do some repair work on the tilt cab. I had to glue the wheels, the front and rear wheels back on it again. That's all I needed to do. But that's a whole different story because we actually had a design fail point with that kit because I figured that would be the issue. Anyway, I'm digressing, talking about this thing. Those are the only two major issues I've ever had transporting model kits in this case. Now, this guy here has it's all I guess ABS plastic. It's actually watertight. It even has this little knob here to relieve air pressure if you're moving from I don't know, Denver to Arizona, where there's about 3,000 foot elevation of 3 to 4,000 foot elevation difference. There's a reason why that's there. That's because this is designed to be a camera case. And I understand, you can correct me if you're a photographer into photographic equipment, but I understand that sometimes the lenses and stuff will flex or something like that depending on air pressure or whatever. So this is to help acclimate the case to the air pressure before you open it, something like that. I don't know. Maybe it helps you open it. But they always say to pop the valve first before you open the case so everything can, I don't know, regulate in pressure, something like that. We also have on here some custom-made luggage tags. I'm not going to show you right now because it's actually got my phone number on there, but it's got me, Mrs. BG, and then my email and phone number on there. And it's a nice piece of plastic, which is engraved. She got them on Amazon for very little. It's held on here with this nice piece of cable so that should the case go missing, folks know who to contact, so that's cool. But it's got these chunky locks on there, and it's got these pieces of bent metal to look like it's got some sort of armored lock protection. I think it's just cute. And then a really robust handle. That's not going to come apart while running through the airport, O.J. Simpson style, back when that was fun. But pop it open here. And so full disclosure, I haven't opened this since we've gotten home from just this last trip on Sunday. I'll have to raise the camera up just a teensy bit there. So let's open it up. Oh, you'll be cleared. Okay, cool. So as you can see inside here, we have all this really awesome foam. And what we do is they're these little cubes, right? And this entire surface, there's two different levels. This entire surface is made up of these little cubes all glued together. And then what you do is you tear out the space that you want. And what's great about model cars is they're pretty uniform in size and shape, so that's great. So you just pull these out and then place your model in there. And I retain these and I put them across the top of the model, lay them across the top so that if the model happens to shift or whatever, it's not banging into anything. And there's enough pressure from this top cone-shaped piece of foam to gently press down and hold stuff still. I think the thing that messes up the model most is shifting around in transit, bashing into things and knocking stuff around. So there's that. I always try to save my entry blanks from shows. When you're picking up your model and walking away from the table, take your entry blanks with you. Help the guys that put on the show by cleaning up after yourself. I always like doing that. So here we go. Here's the dart bag, and I can tell you right now, I've got both door handles and the side mirror on, so that's a good sign. So I'm going to gently, and I like to do this. I like to pick them up. I don't like doing this with one hand, but I like doing it with two hands, chopstick style. Picking it up from the windows, pulls it out very easily. And then we can pick it up and there's no parts in the bottom of the case. That's a good sign. He traveled well. So I'm going to set him aside. And can you see down in there? Those are the actual impressions that the wheels press into the to the foam down there at the very bottom. That's all we need. So if you're doing this type of style carrying, you want to make sure your axles are actually going to be a little bit on the substantial robust side because you might have a breakage there if you're having too much pressure on there. Okay, now right here we have the Jimmy, and here's a large chunk of foam that we saved, and that fit right down over the top of the back end of the Jimmy, which was great, holds everything in place. And then we'll just take off a couple more chunks here. Now you notice I have the dart bag hood over here. That's because I was worried about this shifting around and breaking off the velocity stacks. A little worried about that. I didn't want that to have to happen. And then with the Jimmy, this has never been attached because I always have to pop open the drawer and my tolerances are too tight, so it's really hard to do that. But I leave this free floating, so there we go. And then a little piece of foam on the inside. And then this guy was placed in there so that any larger pieces of foam wouldn't get in there and break off the seats or something like that. So this was kind of like a standoff piece. Now with the Jimmy, I just grab it by the windshield. I pick him up. Pivot. There we go. Pivot. And once again, there's no parts in the bottom of the case on that side. That's a good sign. You notice that there's kind of dusty looking in there? Well, that's because I carried my Toyota pickup truck, the one I had made all muddy and stuff. So that's left over from that guy. But this dude's in good shape. Looking great. Set him aside. And now for the Super Bee. Sometimes you'll get a piece of foam that's got a little bit of a notch to it. That's great because then you can just take this guy, place him on the rear deck lid, and it kind of covers up the rear window, whatever, so you don't have a lot of pressure going onto there too. And I wasn't too worried about the hood of this guy shifting around, breaking anything off on the top of the engine, so I left it in place, but I put a big chunk of foam on there to wedge it. And he's a little bit larger than the other two guys, so I'm actually going to take out this piece here, and you can see how we have that cut up. And I say cut up, actually you just pinch these pieces and tear them out. That's it. Same thing with this piece down here. This is the same type of thing as the layer we just took off. So pull up this guy. No parts in the bottom. Very, very good. And this is just how we packed him in Colorado. So he is doing great. I won't tip him on the side because I don't want to lose the hood. Set that to the side. And we'll take up this piece here. And then I did have to carry a larger item here, so I had pulled out this piece, but I can just wedge this all back into place just like that. There we go. That's going to stay. Put this guy on top, close the lid, everything presses together. There you go. Now, there is a little bit of space underneath the lid. Oh my goodness, look at this. I still have these inside the lid. And in the West, look at this. That's cool. And then who are these guys here? Oh, and I still got my Acme tags too. There we go. Hey, looking through history right there. But yeah, these cases are really, really durable. They're very affordable for what you're getting because like I said, we've had these since 2018. And then when we're done with the show, we just pack the stuff and put it in the closet, and it stays there until it's needed again, which hopefully will be when we go to Southern California to the SoCal Open pretty soon. Close and lock it up. There we go. And then on the back side here, I have been starting to put labels and decals for, oops, don't want to show that, all the modelers that we've actually met at shows. So I have a few more to actually add on there. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. I thought perhaps adding some of these decals on here will make less of eye-raising type of questions that we get from the attendants at the airport that usually ask, what you got in the case? Anything interesting? And I'm like, well, I don't think you'll find it interesting. It's model cars. Oh, okay. That's usually how it goes. That's the only harassment we get from that kind of stuff. So hopefully this can answer some of your questions about how Mrs. BG and I travel with very, very delicate model kits. One last thing though, we're going to move this out of the way. I do apologize about the length of this video. I'm a little slow in my talk today. This is what goes into the carry-on bag. Excuse me, the check bag. Okay, so big giant plastic bag. We have our visors, just in case. We have our canopy glue, and this stuff seals up pretty well, so that's okay. We didn't have to put, if I had a tube of super glue in here, I would definitely put that into a separate baggie just in case, because if this pops open, I get a little bit of glue on something in here, I wash it off, no problem, in the sink in the hotel room. If you get super glue all over everything, you're sunk. All right, so hobby knife. I had to do some touch-ups on my markers, on the side markers for the dart bag, so I brought these guys here to do. And then I got this itty-bitty tiny little set of scissors that Linda picked up for me at a yarn shop. They look stupid, but they're actually pretty good. I'm thinking about using these for cutting out decals because they can get a nice tight curve to them. This is our light for our camera for when we're filming at shows. Very handy little dude. We got this on Amazon for like 20 bucks. Let's see here. We have got the eyeglass case, the Pyramid eyeglass case, twofold. This does two jobs. One, well, first of all, it's got a magnet in there, so that's kind of cool. So that holds our little ruler, just in case. One, this thing here is perfect for trying to mount a mirror or a door handle. If you're being a little jittery, like I am when I'm traveling, I get a little jittery. Put your piece of blue tack on there, mount the whichever height you need it at, and then put your little piece of blue tack on there, put the part on there, and then you can just, let's say this is the side of the car, and you can put the glue on there and then just walk it up and bink, hold it onto the car and walk away until that glue sets up, and you can come back and gently prise it off. And then you can, if you have to do it on the other side, there you go. But yeah, you just figure out which height you need, put that piece of blue tack on there, on the side there, put your part on that, add a little bit of glue, walk it up there, press it against there, and this has enough mass in it with what I have in there, it's not going to slide back or move. So if you find a place in the hotel room where your traveling partner, whoever they may be, isn't going to bump it, sit on it, or accidentally put their luggage on top of it, then you're good to go. So that's kind of handy. Also inside, where's the door? Here it is. Inside, we have a myriad of little things here. Popsicle stick, just in case. These little micro brushes with the tips pulled off are perfect for applying some glue. We do have tweezers. I have all sorts of tweezers because I'm a big fan of tweezers. All sorts of tweezers for different jobs. And little hook nose guys. These guys are MVPs right there. Our duckbill style, like those. And then these are self-closing tweezers. Just, you never know. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the thing. And then our piece of really grody looking blue tack, because this stuff has been around for a while, but we need it, get a little bit warmed up, gets it sticky back, and then away we go. Boom. That's it. Again, never had a problem going through airport security or anything like that. Through, you know, because this is my check bag, so I never had a problem with that at all. So always handy there. And then the most recent piece of equipment that we've added to our little travel bag here is, of course, the Tamiya anti-static brush, because when you're setting your models out, you can just give them a quick dust off and away you go. You're good to go. Also, this has that nice little brush down inside the handle for cleaning out door seams or around windows, something like that. And then this guy. This is just a little, like VCG Resins or Iceman collections. Sometimes they'll send you parts in these tiny little bags. I save them and I put them in my travel stuff, because let's say we do lose a part, I can put that part in this little bag here and not have to worry about tracking it down or stuffing it inside the travel case and that popping open and losing the part, something like that. So the little part goes in this little baggie here. So there we go. All right, that is that, and that's how we travel. So hopefully this answers some questions for you all and gives you some inspiration on how you might tackle traveling with model kits. If you have any suggestions or questions, please post them down below. I'd be happy to address those, talk to you about that. And of course, if you want to do a video about traveling with model kits and how you go about doing it, please do so. I'd love to see what you got going on. All right, we'll talk to you a little bit later on. I'm going to clean this all up so I can get back to work on the oh my. All right, we'll talk to y'all later on. Bye now.